Hi guys, Mr. Cannon, just checking in here, hoping you guys are all safe and your families are okay, and saying hi with Emma. You want to say hi? No, we don't speak English yet. That's okay. Just to get you ready, this is going to be maybe a little longer of a video. I want to bring up a lot of the questions that I've been seeing in y'all's emails. I have been seeing them. If I haven't spoken to you individually, I was trying to keep a little bit of radio silence the last week because things are literally changing day to day. And I didn't want to give any bad information. Please know that we have, as a staff, been working at least full days since Monday morning, and the administration has been working a week or so longer than that. So we have been hard at work in setting up some systems and getting some information for you. I didn't want to get into anything and then have it just changed. And even just this morning, something changed with IB. So for the better, I think. But that's why I haven't been responding to some of those. Okay. So you're going to be okay the whole video. Okay. So I want to go over a couple things here, and then from there you can ask me any wrap-up questions or any clarifications that you have. Okay. Let's go play. So first off, how is this going to work? So effectively, what's going to happen is we're going to maintain a variation of an A-B schedule. So starting on Tuesday, the 31st, we will be going A, B, A, B, A, B. That doesn't mean you have to interact with those classes on those specific days, but it will be something to keep in mind for something that I'll tell you in a second. So like, for example, the 31st and then Wednesday will be an A and a B, and then A, B starts over next Thursday, Friday, the following Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Monday, Tuesday, because that's a holiday. So you'll have to keep that schedule in your head. I recommend that you set up some sort of alarm system or something for that. I live by the highway. That's what that sound is. Okay, so we'll be keeping a normal schedule with that. Now, the way it's going to work is assignments for all classes should be posted at 8:30 on Monday. Oh my goodness. Sorry, working from home, everyone thinks that you should just be in contact all day. At the beginning of every A day at 8:30, all of your classes should have all of their assignments uploaded for you to see. Okay. So, for example, next Tuesday when we start, Tuesday, not Monday, at 8:30, my first assignment will be up. It will be due midnight of that B day. So for my class, you'll have 8:30 a.m. You'll see my first assignment, and it'll be due midnight of that next day, which will be Tuesday. Your physics will be the same thing. Your English will be the same thing. So even though it's A, B, really what we mean is that we're going to be going in 2-day cycles. Everything's up one morning and then due the next midnight. Now, those assignments, we have been directed to not take late work, okay? I know that everyone is probably dealing with different situations. I know a lot of your families have younger kids, and we are having to deal with no daycare now too. So if you have younger siblings, I'm sure some of you guys are helping out with that as well. Try and make sure that you are finding at least some time in that 48-hour span or whatever to get that work in by midnight, because we are being told to not accept any late work, because that's how we're taking attendance. So the state is trying to make sure that we are making sure we have like warm bodies. Oh yeah, are you gonna be fine? The state's trying to make sure we have warm bodies and seats, and our assignment submissions every other day is how we're gonna prove to the state that we have attendance or whatever, okay? So make sure that's the case. Now, if you have questions, teachers will be available, should be available most of the day. I know I will be. I know some other teachers have not been as I've been looking, but they should be available most of the day. At the very least, they will be available during office hours. Every teacher is going to have different office hours. Mine, for example, on A days are 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. and then 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. That's an A day. On B days, it'll be 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. and 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. So it's a 9 to 10, 3 to 4. And then on B days, 9 to 10, 1 to 2. If I'm being totally honest, though, I'm probably going to be on most of the day. So you should always be able to reach me. Now, what you'll be able to do during that, actual, here we go, during that time is you'll be able to see me in Microsoft Teams, which is a program you'll need to make sure you have downloaded to your computer. You'll be able to see me there, and we can text chat, audio chat, video chat. and I can answer any questions that you have specifically for that assignment, and more generally for just questions about how are things going to work. Let me make sure this is going to go. Okay, so based on the settings I used, you should be able to see my screen. If you can't, then I apologize. But basically, you will need to go to Microsoft Teams in your taskbar and download that. You should have access to that. You should have also received an email from me to your school email a couple days ago, inviting you to our class. I'm assuming you can see my screen. If you can't, then it's fine. But basically, you'll go into Teams, and under the Teams tab, you'll see all the different classes that you're enrolled in. So we have, like you'll see, I have a full faculty, a diploma faculty, economics, where me and Ms. Chen Lei-Ti just gossip, our actual neighborhoods, and then your class. Inside that class, you'll see a place for general questions where I can post and you cannot. I'm sorry, general. You'll see general questions where you can post questions to me, and then office hours. So in office hours, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be sitting in this, and these are called channels. I'll be sitting in this channel in this team, and I will start a meeting. What you'll do is when you want to join that meeting, if you have a question, let's say, I'll be sitting here with my camera on. You can, you'll see a little thing that says meeting has started. Do you want to join? You'll say join now. You can choose audio, video, or not. And then you'll join that meeting, and then you'll be able to kind of talk to me and ask me questions, especially these first couple, and you'll find out why in a second. You may want to check those office hours out. So I told you office hours. Okay, so assignments in general. I've been getting a lot of questions on what the assignments are going to be like, and are you going to be having video lectures every other day? Am I going to have to figure out how to do X, Y, and Z? Here's what's up. IB has canceled testing for May, so they are not having you sit down and take a test where we don't know what questions will be asked. What we have decided, what I've decided at least, is that means that there are certain things left in the class that I do not necessarily need to cover with you. So I had to ask myself, am I going to set up a video lecture that helps you calculate the deadweight loss area of a tariff? Or would it be more helpful to do some practical application of things we've already learned? Know that I am very sympathetic to the fact that you are seniors. I'm very sympathetic to the fact that it is today, March 27th, and you are 1 foot out the door. And I'm sympathetic to the fact that you will have a lot of other things to do. So know that the assignments that I will be posting on our A-Day mornings for B-Day due dates, they will be very understanding of that. I am leaning toward a lot of discussion posts. I'm leaning toward a lot of, here's a podcast, let's do some reflection. I think one of the earlier assignments we're looking at doing is just using the stuff we've already talked about. Let's look at the government stimulus plan. Let's look at pros and cons. Let's look at the economic impacts of the virus, pros and cons of what would be a best response. I've got some interesting podcasts and articles to just that are economic but obliquely economic that we can, answer a couple discussion questions. How does the price ceiling that Amazon has put on masks, how does that affect the market for masks and things like that? Things that will be more stuff we've already learned. How can we cover that? Because some of you who are like, I'm going to leave this class and never think about econ again, I want this to be practical. And some of you who are like, I'm looking to go into econ and business, this kind of application is what your job would be in real life. So I want to make sure it covers both fields to be fair for everybody. And again, I know we all have a million things to do. I'm sure you guys have your version of this at home. So I want it to be understanding of that, okay? There will still be grades, and again, she's gonna stand. There will still be grades. Late work will not be accepted, but I want to make sure the assignments are almost easier to do than they are to not do, okay? Next. Okay, IB info. This is really exciting. This is very exciting. So IB has decided that they are not doing paper exams in May, but will still be awarding diplomas based on the quality of work from that student. What that means is they are going to be taking up all IAs, not just 10 random ones. They'll be taking up all IAs, and they will be having someone grade every single one. Now, what's great is if you turned in 3 IAs, if you turned in 3 IAs and you were happy with all of them, then that will be how you'll get your econ grade. So if you turned in 3 and you're like, I think they were all pretty textbook and pretty good, you're in a good position. You might even get a higher score than you would have if you had sat for the test. So that's pretty great. If you are in a position, now here's the downside to that. 2 versions. One, if you are in a position where you turned in an IA, maybe got an inflated grade. Like I know some of you said that last year you might have gotten a 13 on a paper, and then I read it and I said, I would have given this a 9. You're going to wind up with that 9. So what that means is coming up, you have some time to make edits. So those of you who are like, well, I would have made edits if I would have known, or if this counted for more, or if I knew mine was going to get read, I would have made edits. You have some time to make edits, okay? Also, if you did not submit an IA and you were like, well, you know what, I can handle 1 missing grade. I know, isn't that a funny way to think about things? If you were like, I'm just not going to submit it because it's only 1 missing grade, it's about to be the next 3 grades, micro, macro, and trade, all resubmitted. So I have them electronically. So get on that. Also, if you submitted an IA and I just hadn't read it yet because it was new and you know there's some plagiarism in there, it's about to get turned into Turn It In, and I will be putting in zeros for those. So again, plan accordingly, okay? That being said, you will need to make sure you can get into Turn It In. If you're all in English, I know you can get in there. I'm in the process of setting up my classes with Miss Chen. I'm in the process of setting up my classes with Miss Chen. You spit up yourself. And I will have the access codes for you guys either later today or on Monday or Tuesday morning. So that's where you'll be submitting micro, macro, and trade. No, they're fine. So that'll be the case for those. And again, I know it seems tedious to resubmit, but I have paper copies of IAs here, and I have no way to get them to Mr. Brom. So I will need electronic copies. The good news is that'll be the first 3 assignments. So like your first assignment due Wednesday at midnight will be your micro IA into turnitin.com. If you're happy with it and you already did it, awesome, then you're done. That next Friday, macro. That next Tuesday, trade. And this might be the one where some of you have a little more work, which is why it's last, because you now have about a week and a half to either do trade if you didn't do it last year, or edit trade if you aren't happy with it, okay? So all the way through the 7th is just micro, macro, and trade. That's what you need to get done. It's not too bad. It's not too bad. After that is when we'll start some of the application things. We'll look at some of the general topics that we've covered, and just spinning up some of the general topics we've covered in more practical application for real life, okay? Now that I think is everything that I wanted to cover here. If you need help signing into Teams, oh, sorry, last thing, late work, I have my grade bin, I have it here. I see your emails, okay? And I understand why you're emailing me, and I appreciate it because you should be communicating about your grade. But I have the grade bin. Before you come back Tuesday, everything should be fully updated with all the information I have, okay? We have been really, and not sarcastically, we've been very hard at work setting up systems so that everything works fine moving forward. I'll set up here. So everything works fine moving forward. And honestly, late work has taken kind of a back burner, and that's unfortunate side effect of doing this correctly. So make sure that you are keeping on top of that, but by Tuesday, all late work should be submitted and inputted correctly, okay? I think those are the major things I wanted to talk about. So let's, if you're able to see my screen, I can't remember what I did. So wrap up. We're starting on Tuesday with an A day. I would set an alarm every A day whenever you get up, whether it's at 8:30 or not, to make sure you don't forget a day. It is really easy when you're kind of sitting these days to drop a day, to drop an assignment, and then boom, you were absent and you have a 0. Make sure you set an alarm, set a schedule for yourself, okay? Working from home, whether it's student or professional, you need to set schedules for yourself, or else it's easy to fall into these like kind of slumps where you don't do anything for a couple days and you fall behind, okay? Make sure you can log into Teams. The code for my class is already in the hub. It should be in the announcement below this one, so make sure you do that. Make sure you can get in to turn it in, and by Monday or so, I will have the codes for my class. Start finding those IAs, and know that I will need the articles as well. I obviously won't be checking the articles for plagiarism, but I will have a place to submit them. let's see, if you're not happy with your IA grade, start making some of those edits, or plan on using some office hours Tuesday and Wednesday to talk through those with me. That's one of the beauties of this thing is if you know that you want to make edits, but you're not sure why, well, Tuesday at 9 a.m., I'll be in the group chat. You can open up the file with me and I'll kind of read it and just give you some feedback. So that's pretty great. Micro, macro, or trade, we can talk about it. And if demand is really high, I'll start doing a scheduling thing, but I'll kind of see how many of you want to do that. And if you have not completed trade IA, that is due with the same requirements. That is due the 7th. Yeah, Tuesday the 7th, next Tuesday. Sorry, 2 Tuesdays from now. April 7th. Okay. I think that is it. Again, I hope you guys are all doing well. I hope everyone is staying safe and staying inside, or at least staying away from people at the very least. Be smart, wash your hands, and don't go crazy. Find yourself a Netflix series and start exercising or something. I don't know. Okay, see you guys later. Thank you for taking the time, and I'm looking forward to this. See you guys soon.